Yo guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Stretched. In today's video, we're just gonna look at the PTR for New World, December's biggest update. Yeah, we're just gonna go through all the patch notes and find out what the hell they're gonna be doing within New World in the next upcoming updates. So if you do like this video, smash the like button. If you wanna see more, the subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on post notifications. And I will see you all in the next one. But yeah, here we go, let's get into this. Right, so we've now finally finished the public test round from what I gather. This is why I'm assuming they've posted this, especially with the dev blog Endgame Update number 2 by Zin Ramu. I'm guessing that this is the kind of what the purpose of the PTR was, to kind of solve or get to know or introduce new things. So these are basically the forum's notes on all of the patch notes for the December PTR. I'll get up the PTR now just so we'll all have a read together quickly, because there's quite a lot of information in here, all of which I'll go in more detail on the other page, on the forum page. But this is kind of what we got in a recent article update. It says, greetings adventurers, Aeternum is an ever-evolving world, and as such we continued our efforts in providing our players with an assortment of ongoing new features, content and changes, similar to the activities leading up to our latest major update, which is what this is what the PTR is all about, is for the next major update. We're approaching the release of our next large patch, and would like once again to invite you all to participate in the next cycle of our public ground testing. Okay, now the PTR, we had one in, I think it was November, and this is the December one. So, yeah, not much added to it apart from, well, we'll talk about it anyway. So, yeah, Public Realm is limited. The Public Test Realm is a limited availability server set that will give players an early look at upcoming features. These preview builds are snapshots of upcoming major updates and are not final versions. You may encounter bugs, etc. within this. Moving on, feedback is always required. Times when it's open. Yeah. And this is the whole content of it, basically. Yeah, so just obviously if you did take part, put all your feedback in towards New World and it should make it a better place. Okay, so we start off with the PTR when they released it, saying the holiday of the winter convergence has arrived in Aeternum, marked by the appearance increased snowfall and northern lights in the sky. Aurora Borealis. I pronounced that, I'm sorry. This is a time of duality, and I can't pronounce that word, I'm not even going to try, as the Yeti, the Winter Wanderer, comes to the land. While in the settlements, gifts are exchanged to mark the passing of the year. Outside the safety of the walls, there rages a wintry war between the positive forces of winter, championed by the Winter Wanderer's positive side, and the negative forces of winter are championed by the Winter Wanderer's negative side. The players take on the cause of the Winter Wanderer to collect winter tokens from repeatable events across the island, able to turn them into a holiday shop containing rare and cosmetic items. The Winter Wanderer's positive aspects grows in power with each token collected and turned in. Icy winds and the Winter Wanderer bring with them new armors, weapons, furnishing, skills, consumables, and a delightful present gifting emote, all themed of the wonderful Aeternum holiday of winter convergence. Right, so we're going to start off by saying the Winter Wanderer has set up 4 villages to facilitate the joy and cheer of winter convergence. Visit these villages in Everfall, Monarch's Bluff, Weaver's Fen, and Brightwood to meet the Winter Wanderer and carry out his holiday quests. Now, what quest you may be asking? Here we go. We've got the Convergence Spirit. Celebrate the spirit of the season by giving a helping hand in decorating your favourite settlement. From what I've seen, it's to do with decorating a massive Christmas tree. The Convergence Spirit is a special town project that allows players to complete special town projects to upgrade each settlement tree of light for improved daily rewards. You've got those dastardly frigid folk are spreading their mischief and stealing presents across the Aeternum. Located throughout the world are lost presents to be recovered and turned in for winter tokens. And Gleamite collecting. Bright, glittering, gleaming Gleamite meteors of a multitude of colour fall from the night sky during this time of the year, as destructive as they are beautiful. Gleamite showers are a new random dynamic event that occurs at night throughout Aeternum. Keep your eyes open and search for location where the showers are most prevalent. exchange the harvested crystals for winter tokens. There's going to be some ice caves going to be popping up all over Eternum. They will remain afterwards, we know that much. But yeah, these ice caves are going to be in-game events sort of thing. There's going to be some new quests happening. I'm not going to go all of this because I'm going to go through all of it within the blog post, within the forum post, should I say. But yeah, you've got new quests, new journal categories, AI sort of stuff, UI stuff they're going to be introducing. New features called expertise in Gypsum. I'll go through that again in the forums a little bit more. Trade skill aptitudes, I'll go through that in the forum a little bit more. And a lot of PvP balance changing. And again, I'll go through that in the forums in a second. Again, all the frequently asked questions, etc, etc. But moving on, we will hit up the forum now and go more in depth about all of these things. So firstly, we're going to go through an overview of all the changes that's going to be happening or hopefully happening in this next update. Again, like it says at the top there, it is subject to change. So it starts off by saying, rename the high watermark system to the expertise system, and now displays expertise values in the UI. On the paper doll, each slot will now display the current expertise level of that slot. It's basically to show you your high watermark level on the side of your inventory, so you can kind of see it on the go. They've renamed it to expertise, so get used to calling it expertise system now and not watermark system. An average expertise value is also shown above the average gear score on the paper doll. Players will get a level up banner whenever they increase their expertise now, instead of it's just being random. You don't know when you're gonna like loot a chest box at level 520. At least you know now once you've leveled up an item in. They've introduced Gypsum, a resource that can be acquired by performing a variety of end-game activities each day. So this is where they're getting at. They want to make it more of a daily grind now, instead of just loot boxing and just looting at random. They actually want to give you some sort of daily quest to go by and sort of daily challenges to go at now. Talk about all the Gypsum. There they all are there. You can read through them yourselves. I'll have this forum post linked in the description, so don't forget to check it out down below. Also, they're going to be introduced a kiln station in all endgame zones that allow players to craft gypsum orbs from the various types of gypsum you can find. Gypsum orbs can then be crafted into gypsum casts of any weapon, armor, or trinket type. Opening a trinket cast will guarantee an expertise bump. Basically, you raise your expertise doing this, and reward players with a gear of the cast type. So basically, with the introduction of these gypsum, the gypsum orbs and the kiln, you're going to be able to basically get guaranteed boost bumps for your gear score, for your expertise levels. Now, that's the whole point of this. You can do daily challenges now to purposely boost your expertise level. Tune down the general chance of getting expertise bump to compensate for the guaranteed bumps that are added to the gypsum. So again, they've balanced it by obviously reducing the random sort of expertise drops you're going to be getting. Instead, you're now going to be like, it's going to be harder to get them, but you can obviously force your expertise bump up now. Adjusted the potential range of an expertise increase based on the expertise level. Next says, adjusted the potential range of an expertise increase based on the expertise level. In general, the ranges stay slightly wider for further up the progression range, which translate into less overall increased moments required to reach the cap. So on average, most people will get there in fewer bumps. I'm kind of assuming what they mean by that is when you do get an expertise bump, it won't just be one level, it might now be 2 or 3 levels to kind of hopefully get you there a bit faster. I'm thinking, tell me in the comments if I'm wrong on that, but that's kind of what it seems to me. Increase the rewards for expeditions to further incentivize doing them. Again, this goes towards the dailies. They want you doing like daily dungeons and stuff like that, grinding out them sort of daily tasks and that, instead of just grinding up random stuff and doing random bits here and there, finding the best ways. But they want to make focus towards more of a daily challenge. Introduce timeless shards, a new crafting ingredient that can be used to guarantee specific stats on weapons and armor. Again, I think that's just a new crafted sort of mod to help with a guaranteed sort of type of attribute you want on your gear. Not too sure about that. Again, I'd have to look more into that. I do apologize. Adjusted to point of interest to become end game content. The Malevolence Elite point of interest in Eden Grove. was up leveled to a level 66 content and now has 6 elite chests that can all provide endgame expertise bumps. And the Imperial Palace North Dynasty Shrine elite point of interest in Ebonscale Reach were up level to level 66 as well as 8 elite chests that can be provided for, again, endgame expertise bumps. They've increased the level of endgame corrupted breaches to 66, made a number of adjustments to endgame difficulty to compensate for some accidental overtuning we did in November. Again, just some major some fixes there. Again, it says Merkguard difficulty adjustments, added elite chests. Again, these are just some general fixes and changes that they're going to be adding, nothing too special. Ebonscale Reach is going to be adjusted, Imperial Palace is going to be adjusted, North Palace Shrine difficulties, yeah, all of these are difficulties. Relocated Daisy the Dancing Bear and renamed the Wolf Morgulf. A bit of ritual point of interest has been discontinued and replaced with a fast travel option. Nice, like an extra fast travel option. Several elite chests were moved into the final boss encounters for Imperial Palace and North Place Shrine. So it looks like Imperial Palace and North Place Shrine have got seriously difficult now. You're going to struggle to do them if you didn't already. Scorpius difficulty adjustments, reduce the difficulty of the elite tendrils and Hellmoths and the named Corrupted Heavy and the named Corrupted Heavy. Okay, again, nothing, that's just more increased difficulties and adjustments. Difficult of the name Ghost. Again, these are all areas that have got sort of increased difficulty now or reduced difficulty dependent on which areas. I'm not going to go through all of them because obviously you can read them all for yourself when you need to. Okay, now within the world, we've had the Winter Convergence. It's kind of marked by the winter. We know about all of this. We know about the Ice Caves. I told you all about them. Icy Winds and Winter Wanderers bring with them new armors, weapons, furnishings, skins, consumables, and delightful present gifting ammo, all themed off the wonderful holiday of Winter Convergence. We know about the villages. They're set up in Everfall, Monarch's Bluff, Weaver's Fen, and Brightwood. They're all their own separate villages as well, by the way, guys. They're not in the outpost. They're in their own separate places. We've got the quests to get on with. We know about them. We know about these quests as well. White Convergence, 7 new quests for the holiday event, range from 25 to 60. Improvements to main story quests, so we like some of that. They're the 3 quests that looks like it's been sorted. Supplementary territory quests, as you can read, new territory quests within Morningdale and Restless Shore. And they've introduced new housing quests. 7 new housing quests added that are unlocked as players progress in their territory standing. These quests allow players to assist an idealistic architect as he undertakes a bold mission to construct new houses out in the wilds of Turnham. The architect will extol the virtues of home ownerships and reward players with new furniture and decor. Seek out Gaiamako, can't pronounce that, in the settlement in First Light, Everfall, Monarch's Bluff or Windswood to get started. Completion of Encroaching Corruption. That's the main story quest, by the way, is required. We've got a hell of a lot of notable fixes. I'm not going to go through them because, again, you can read them all for yourself. General AI fixes, so all the mobs without throat, you're going to find them to be whatever these will say, maybe buff, maybe nerf. Similar with the dungeon AI, all of them are going to be fixed issues with buff or nerf with the difficulties, etc., etc. You have to find them all out yourself. You can read them. AI fixes, again, general stuff. Combat now. In a minute, we'll look at what they've done to the weaponing because they've done a lot of balancing within this update to the combat system. We'll read through what they're saying about the PvP system right now, but there's a hell of a lot of updates to a lot of the weapons that's going to be coming in this update. But firstly, let's just read the combat. Due to an issue in our initial PvP damage formula that caused lower gear to be more beneficial in damage mitigation, we have updated our formula. We look forward to hearing your feedback on this update. So it says PvP damage formula update. Adjusted the way armor mitigation was calculated to use enemies' gear score value instead of your average gear score. To adjust for the difference in armor mitigation, we increased damage low level players to do higher level players and reduced the damage that higher players reduced the damage that high level players due to low level players. Critical damage application. Critical damage bonuses from masteries or perks are now applied additively instead of multiplicatively. On average, this will reduce extra damage than they provide by 3 to 5%. Basically means instead of it multiplying each time you get a critical damage bonus, instead now it just adds up. Yeah, it means it's weaker now. And they've done a lot to the buff window, a lot to the general consistency pass has been done across all weapons to adjust the buffering windows for dodge abilities and basic attacks. The updated buffer windows starts on the first frame of the attack that would deal damage or on the first casting frame in the cast of the ability that do not deal damage. In a nutshell, what that basically means is they've retimed some of the frame rates. What that basically means is they've adjusted some of the frames in which when you start a dodge or when you start an attack or when you start one of your abilities, the frames it takes for you to complete all of them, they've kind of reduced or nerfed or buffed some of them frame rates, if that makes sense. So when you do a roll animation, it may now be like a little bit faster because they might have reduced the frames, or the opposite way, it might be slower because they've added more frames onto it. And they've done that for pretty much every single weapon here. As you can see by here, it says heavy attacks reduce recovery time by -5 frames. Going on, it says seismic waves reduce hit stun from 30 frames down to 10 frames. So instead of being stunned by the seismic wave, you're now stunned, instead of 30 frames, you're now stunned for 10 frames, regardless of timing, if that makes sense. They've made a lot of balances for all these weapons. Every weapon, I can assume, has got some sort of balancing done to it to keep in line with keeping things as even as possible, I assume. Okay, I didn't read this navigation bit or this dodge bit, but again, they're all the weapons. If you want to read through them, I'll leave the patch notes linked in the description down below. Okay, so dodge, it says fix an issue where you can repeatedly dodge while in the exhausted state if you weren't pressing any directional buttons. Okay, fair enough. Abilities which previously only prevented dodging, such as has been updated, so they now also prevent jumping. Okay, right, yep. Navigation. Crouch and prone can no longer be toggled while holding the block button. Okay, fix an issue while traversing the auto run and auto traverse with a slight movement pause. Fix an issue with character leg animations when sheathing. Fix an issue with weapons sometimes not equipping properly when players quickly switch between crouch, stand, into prone. Fix an issue where players could get through outcropping collisions by using certain abilities while prone. Fix an issue where players can decent down repeatedly. Right, so again, these ain't too much to worry about in the dodge and navigation section. They're just some general fixes throughout. One of the main notable ones is fix an issue where traversing with auto run and auto traverse had a slight movement pause. And crouch and prone can no longer be toggled while holding the block button. So that makes stop some movements, doing a bit of parkour about New World. Again, they've updated all the perks as well, giving all the perks a boost or a nerf depending on whatever New World want to do with it. Outpost rush, initial spawn areas now have barriers preventing enemies from entering. Fix the crash to rent exiting. Yep, personal outpost. Most of it is just general fixes, which is good. But now we get on to the trade skill aptitude section of it. Now this is a brand new system they're bringing in, as well as the whole gypsum system and expertise system. This is coming into play as well. It says here, we want to continue rewarding the efforts you make to craft items for yourself, your friends, or to make a buck for the trading post. So we have introduced trade skill aptitude. I'll go through all of this, but in a nutshell, what it basically is saying that once you reach level 200, instead of it just being stopped and capped off, it will now cycle round through 3 different checkpoints. At each checkpoint, sort of like a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 style checkpoints around a circle. And obviously, as you go up through these tiers, you get a reward for like your first one, your second one, your third one, and then it will carry on. It will never stop, basically. And the more you go up these skill tiers, the more better equipment you will get, the better resources and stuff you'll get. But that is basically, in a nutshell, what the whole trade skill aptitude stuff is all about. I will go read through it just so you know. It says here, upon reaching level 200 in a trade skill, the leveling circle will update to show 3 markers equidistant from each other on the circle. Earning trade skill XP will begin progressing you again, and when you reach one of these markers, you will be rewarded with a container of useful items that are mostly trade skill relevant, such as craft mods, special ingredients, and even schematics and recipes. Each subsequent marker awards a more spectacular container with more rewards than the one before. Gaining enough XP to go all the way around the circle will increment the aptitude counter by 1. This counter will keep counting so you can keep track of how many times you've wrapped your progress around the top level. I'm assuming it'll go up to like level 999, and then it will just reset, or go up to 1,000 plus and just keep going. I don't know the max it will go up right now. We have also introduced a new type of reward with this system, equipment patterns. Okay, so now after you reach level 200, you start the trades guild, you're able to get a new type of reward called equipment patterns. Equipment patterns are crafting artifacts that enable you to craft a guaranteed gear score 600 item that has a specific appearance. Basically, you can kind of, I'm assuming, means you can kind of have, you get a pattern which you can put in a trades. Patterns will still roll perks, and players have the normal amount of control over their outcome with craft mods and Azoth. Equipment patterns have a small chance to drop from Arcana, weaponsmithing, armoring, and engineering aptitude reward caches. They've brought a whole new system of equipment patterns with this, which just mean that you can, once you get one of these equipment patterns, you can use them to craft guaranteed 600 gear stuff, which is pretty badass, you know. So you just keep crafting and you'll get all this stuff to keep crafting 600 gear stuff, and it makes doing more daily challenges worthwhile, is what they're getting at, I think. Add a refining recipes that let you refine 250 of a tier 5 raw ore, wood, fiber, or rawhide into one legendary material. For instance, you can now convert 250 orichalcum orb into 1 tovium. Orichalcum ingots can now be crafted with platinum as well as star metal. This is massive. This is going to stop a lot of the daily grinding sort of nonsense that people would do just for the ores now. You can now, basically what they're saying is you can craft the legendary ores with obviously materials you've gathered. So instead of having to go around and find all these legendary ores, we can now craft them, which is going to make crafting a lot more fun, because you can obviously go around. There'll be a limited amount you can craft, no doubt, but still you can craft them, which is pretty badass, I think. There's a load more with the reward section. There are a number of knights in the game that have valuable named items for players around 20 to 25. Seek them out and take their treasures for them. I'm guessing that's just a few new things for level 20 to 25 to deal with. Added tier 5 amulet ring earring drops that randomly roll out all stats and gear score to all level 600 plus content. Added tier 5 amulet ring and earring drops that randomly roll all stats and gear score to all level 600 plus content. Previously, there was only one named trinket dropping at this tier, so this should accelerate trinket expertise as well. The gash named ring previously had the incorrect gem slotted into it, a weapon gem. It now correctly has an armor gem in it. Faction shields no longer have a damage perk on them. Enchanted round shields now have refreshing ward. Kite shields have keenly fortified, and tower shields now have hated. Again, I think this is just some general fixes to some of the weaponry, where you'd find weaponry that had different sort of abilities and stuff. And they're just giving you a bit more luck in that sort of general, and finding better items throughout the Eternum. Not too fussed about the fishing side of things until we get on it. And more notable bug fixes: the token and coin cost of the tier 2 faction health and mana potions for Syndicate now match the other factions. That's just weird, didn't expect that. It's an issue that's causing Void Gauntleters to not naturally roll their ability specific bonuses when dropped and crafted. Again, you can read all these fixes for yourself, guys. They're all up in the blog post, in the forum post, should I say. UX, UI, and social. Updated loading screen system. So again, we're gonna have a new loading screen, which is gonna be pretty badass. Where player is loading into. And they've added tips onto the loading screen. We like loading screen tooltips. Why not? We like them. Updated social and navbar UI. Yep, that's just the menu sort of things. They've updated all of that. It looks a little bit different now. Nothing too specific, but yep. Also within that, they've added new quest categories within the journal side of things. I'm not going to go through all the other notable fixes because we will be here all day. But I will leave it all in the description down below. Again, there's a hell of a lot coming, a lot of balancing, a lot of new sort of ways to be doing things, and I think it's going to kind of send New World into a new sort of direction. But I'm excited for it. I hope you all are. I've got 3 levels to go through, and then I'll be level 60 and can start some endgame content and start bringing you some more content along them levels, because right now I feel a bit lost, all this endgame talk, and I don't know what I'm doing. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. If you've liked this video, smash that like button. Don't forget to turn on post notifications. And up until next time, I will see you then, guys. And have an awesome day. Take it easy. See you later. Bye.